Hello, folks. This is Gregory Robinson, author of Time Machine, coming at you with our Fast Five on Friday. And wanted to kind of tell a story. When I was a young boy, still being picked up at school, my grandfather did something that was really neat, and it's always kind of stuck in my head and been one of my favorite moments in life. Um, I was a huge fan of the Dukes of Hazzard series back when I was a kid, and I think we all know the old orange car that was in the series. And I looked up a couple of facts on that. Over 300 cars were used in the series, and only 20 still remained in, as the article said, different levels of disrepair. So they went through a lot of these cars, and the car is kind of rare, 1969 Dodge. And it was so neat. I come out of school one day, and I guess backing up a little bit, my grandfather was friends with the local car dealer in town, and they had gotten one in. And I think it was being sold to somebody, but my grandfather was able to talk his friend into letting him borrow it for the afternoon. And he came to school and picked me up in the General Lee, and I thought that was just the coolest thing I had ever experienced. It was such a small gesture, just borrowing a car to go and pick a kid up from school. It didn't require a lot of he didn't have to buy the car. He didn't have to spend a lot of money. He quite honestly just had a buddy that had one and knew I loved the series and thought about me and actually picked me up in it in front of all my friends and everything. And I wanted to talk to you today about those small gestures that have such a huge impact. This sticks in my brain as one of the, like I said, the neatest moments of my life was being picked up in this iconic car from school. And I got to thinking about that and got to thinking about, man, I really hope one day that I can wow my daughter like that. She's very young. She's only, she's coming up on 4 months, so we don't know what she's into yet, and no telling what that will be. And I kind of wonder, is she going to be kind of a girly girl, and am I going to need to somehow glue a unicorn horn on a horse and pick her up at school to really wow her? I just don't know what that's going to be. But my point is that these small gestures, these small things are the things that mean so much to people. I remember back when my wife and I were first just kind of hanging out as friends. She had a procedure coming up, and she was real worried about it. And I snuck over to her place before she woke up and left her some flowers I'd cut from the yard and a little note, just kind of trying to encourage her and just say, hey, it's going to be all right. You're a lot stronger than you think. Everything's going to be fine. And later on, she told me that was just really impacted her, really just showed her that I cared. And it was simple. I spent a couple of minutes writing a few encouraging words on a piece of notebook paper. Like I say, it wasn't anything, grandiose or huge. And I cut a couple flowers, a couple of Asiatic lilies out of my own yard. So I didn't even buy the flowers. There wasn't money involved. There was just thought and time put in. And these small gestures are really what mean the most to folks. So just kind of keep that in mind. A lot of times we feel like, well, I really just don't have time to do this or that. But it really just doesn't take a whole lot of time for these small gestures to just make such a big impact on somebody. So think about that as you're going along. You got somebody in your life that you could do something very small but very special for. You just don't know what the impact is going to be on them, and whether that's going to stick with them the rest of their life, like my experience did me. So think about that a little bit, and try to, over the next week, try to do something, a very small gesture for somebody in your life. It can be someone at work, part of your family, your spouse, but just genuinely take a few minutes and try to do something that is just a small gesture for someone you know and someone you care about. And I think you're really going to see that huge impact I'm talking about. This has been our Fast Five on Friday. I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope the good Lord blesses you today.